This is Mac OS Ken.
Wedbush is still wild for Apple. Talk of Apple manufacturing outside of China, and a couple of Apple retail stories. It is Monday the 20th. Oh, it should have been a couple of Apple Store stories. Yeah, maybe next time. It is Monday the 23rd of May, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macosken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives had a message on Friday, and he got it out in a couple of ways. One was through a note to Analyst posted by Apple 3.0, while the other was through his own Twitter account, @DivesTech. Personally, I appreciate the brevity of his 3 tweets, though the note offers the kind of detail that people moving tens of thousands of dollars or more kind of like to see. As of now, said the first of 3 Twitter posts, we believe iPhone demand is holding up better than expected despite the various supply issues that have plagued Apple and the rest of the tech sector, and are trending better than management's guidance thus far in the quarter. Those supply issues are no joke, though. The note reminds readers of the $4 billion to $8 billion headwind Apple execs have said the company is facing this quarter due to issues in the supply chain. But it seems it could have been worse. Over the last few weeks, says the second of 3 tweets, our Asia iPhone supply chain checks have been surprisingly resilient despite the zero COVID-driven demand issues in China that remain the elephant in the room for the Apple story. Remains top tech pick despite many yelling fire in a crowded theater. It's not just current demand that feeds his belief, though. As Ives has indicated for a while now, iPhone's installed base is so big there is always a sizable portion lined up for an upgrade. The way he sees it, the stickiness of the iPhone upgrade cycle is being underestimated by investors in our opinion, as we estimate that roughly 240 million of Apple's 1 billion iPhones have not been upgraded to a new smartphone in roughly 3.5 years. This importantly speaks to the Apple growth path over the next 12 to 18 months, as iPhone 14 is set to be unveiled in the September timeframe. He wraps his note saying, while the nervous market backdrop is creating a fearful environment for tech stocks, we believe Apple's growth story remains well intact despite the macro. Apple remains our favorite tech name. Similar sentiments in his Twitter post, 3 of 3 this one. Apple remains our favorite tech name as we reiterate our outperform rating and $200 price target, with these recent checks giving us further confidence in the iPhone cycle into next year. In news that'll stun nobody, the Wall Street Journal says Apple is looking to increase production outside of China. Of course, whether it can is a whole other thing. The piece has unnamed sources saying Apple is looking more closely at ramping production in India and Vietnam. The primary worry seems to be not COVID, but ongoing tensions between China and the U.S. Or maybe it's a combo. The journal's secret sources say spreading production around outside of China was a thing Apple wanted to do before the pandemic, though moves to do so were stifled by the pandemic. While it's said to be eyeing that again, the journal has people in the industry saying many of the reasons Apple has long kept China as its manufacturing hub remain in place: a well-trained workforce, low costs relative to the U.S., and a deep network of parts suppliers that is hard to recreate elsewhere without years of effort. Why so long? Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, the number of qualified workers in China exceeds the entire population of many alternative countries in Asia. Local governments in China have worked closely with Apple to ensure its contractors have adequate land, labor, and supplies to assemble iPhones and other electronics in giant factories. Also a plus, a middle class to buy the stuff that Apple makes and sells. Indications in the piece are that Apple would like to grow a big manufacturing base in India, thanks to its huge population and low costs. The parts to make the things would still come from China, though. China and India are not the best of friends, making that prospect challenging. China would rather see Vietnam or other Southeast Asian countries win the race, according to the report. One does have to wonder, if you do what China wants, are you really diversifying from China? Whatever the case, everything seems to be in the talking stage now. Apple has reportedly told manufacturing partners to start looking at options outside of China. If they all had plans ready tomorrow, the journal indicates that it would still take years to see them to fruition. If you're a T-Mobile customer having problems with iMessage, it's not just you. Mac Rumors highlights an issue first covered by Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. Not covered like a story, though. More covered like a guy having this problem. According to a Twitter post by Gurman, there is a very nasty iPhone and T-Mobile bug where iMessage and FaceTime for a device's phone number will randomly deactivate, and there is no way to reactivate it. The only solution that worked for me is getting a new physical SIM card, an extremely disappointing issue. Okay, but there is a way to reactivate it. Physical versus eSIM seems to play a part. The Mac Rumors piece says it appears to be an eSIM bug that's deactivating both iMessage and FaceTime for some people. Gurman did find eventually that removing, then re-adding an eSIM account for a problematic iPhone also fixed the issue. He's not a fan of that solution, though, pointing out that it's complex for most people and shouldn't need to ever be done. Gurman says he has heard from T-Mobile on the issue. According to yet another Twitter post, the Un-carrier tells Gurman that it is working with Apple on trying to resolve the problem. A second Apple Store union election will take place next month. That is the word from Engadget. Early this month, we heard word that Atlanta's Apple Cumberland Mall would hold a vote over unionization next week. That's set for Thursday, the 2nd of June, through Saturday, the 4th. Now, the Engadget piece says employees at an Apple store in Townson, Maryland, have set a date for their union election. Workers at the Townson Town Center location will vote in person over 4 days, starting on the 15th of June. From worker moves at older Apple stores to opening a brand new location, Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has opened Apple Wuhan in Wuhan, China. A few points make this store notable now. It is the company's first retail location in the Hubei province. It is Apple's first location in China with a dedicated Apple pickup area, so customers can quickly and easily get their online orders, according to the report. And they still take COVID seriously. According to Apple Insider, the outlet will be abiding by local government's epidemic prevention policy, which will require both staff members and visitors to abide by strict health measures. These include wearing masks, maintaining social distancing, and undertaking temperature checks. What a throwback. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion. One workspace for your whole team. How many times has this happened to you? Somebody at work says something, somebody else says something else. There's confusion between the two and no one place to get it cleared up. At best, you can take time clearing up a misunderstanding or miscommunication. At worst, person A is throwing person B under the bus, and the whole team gets hit with delay and confusion. Clear, visible, accessible communication is important, and that is something you can have with Notion. Notion is an all-in-one team collaboration tool that combines note-taking, document sharing, wikis, project management, and much more into one space that is simple, powerful, and beautifully designed. Who said what? It's right there. What's our next step? It's right there. Whether you're working with people across the room or across the country, you will have everything you need in one spot. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. That's notion.com/macOSKen to help you take the first step toward an organized, happier team today. NOTION. That's notion.com/macOSKen. Looks like the cost for Apple Music is going up for students on some parts of the planet. A piece from Mac Rumors says the Cupertino company has been emailing college kids in affected regions, though it has not made price increases globally. In one such email to a customer in South Africa, Apple said, "Thank you for subscribing to Apple Music. We wanted to let you know about an upcoming change to this subscription. Apple is raising the price of this subscription from $1.49 US per month to $1.99 per month." I obviously paraphrased part of that. In addition to South Africa, other countries known by Mac Rumors to see increases include Australia, India, Indonesia, Israel, Kenya, Malaysia, New Zealand, the Philippines, Saudi Arabia, and Singapore. It's not clear whether that's everyone, since Apple has not announced anything, choosing instead to email those affected. A little over a week ago, Kendrick Lamar's latest album set the 2022 record for first-day streams. Now that record has been broken, and it was done in practically no time. A piece from iMore says Apple Music tweeted out congrats to Harry Styles on the success of his latest album. According to the Twitter post, in its first 2 hours, Harry's House earned the most first-day streams for a pop album released in 2022. After tackling the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Star Trek universe, Matt Shakman is headed to the Monsterverse. Deadline says Shakman, who helmed the Disney Plus series WandaVision and is set to direct the 4th film in Star Trek's Kelvin timeline, has been tapped by Apple to direct the first 2 episodes of the Cupertino streamer's Godzilla show. Announced earlier this year, Apple describes the show saying, "Following the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco and the shocking new reality that monsters are real, the series explores one family's journey to uncover its buried secrets and a legacy linking them to the secret organization known as Monarch." No word on when the show will storm into Apple's stream. Lupita Nyong'o is apparently out of Apple's Lady in the Lake. According to Apple's March 2021 press release on the show, the limited series takes place in 1960s Baltimore, where an unsolved murder pushes housewife and mother Maddie Schwartz, played by Natalie Portman, to reinvent her life as an investigative journalist and sets her on a collision course with Cleo Sherwood, a hard-working woman juggling motherhood, many jobs, and a passionate commitment to advancing Baltimore's Black progressive agenda. Portman is also an executive producer on the show, and she is still in. Nyong'o was meant to play Sherwood. They're looking for a replacement. Probably PDQ. A piece from Variety announcing Nyong'o's exit says the limited series is already in production. And finally today, Apple has picked up a film at Cannes, though we'll not see it anytime soon. A piece on the acquisition from Deadline indicates that the film has not been made yet. Titled Fingernails, gross. Deadline says in this sci-fi love story, a test has been discovered that measures whether married couples are truly in love, and institutes have opened to help couples succeed. Anna, played by Jessie Buckley, is skeptical of the positive results she's received with her longtime partner, so she starts working in a love institute as an assistant to Trevor, played by Riz Ahmed, a mysterious and dedicated instructor. The film will mark the English language debut of director Christos Nikou. Deadline says production is set to start later this year. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. patreon.com/macosken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.